What's going on, everybody? Almost Counts Collectibles here, and in this video I just want to take the time to take a quick look back at the Lightning Collection figures that we got in 2019. We are about a week into 2020. Wave 4 has officially been leaked, at least for the official photos of the actual Rangers and villains that we are going to receive. We had a small leak of Wave 4 and even Wave 5 actually a while ago, probably over a month ago at least, as to the figures that we were probably going to get. It turns out the Wave 4 leak was correct, but it wasn't until today, at least for me, that I actually was able to see the official leaked photos of the products. Those photos were leaked via Amazon Canada. So we got a good look at them. I'm going to throw them up here on the screen real quick at the Rangers and villains we are going to be receiving for the basic Wave 4. Now, I'm sure there's probably going to be an exclusive or a 2-pack or something additionally released with this wave, as with most waves that we've received to this point. But the two figures I am most excited about are the yellow Mighty Morphin Power Ranger and the blue Zeo Ranger. Two more Zordon era figures for me to add to my collection. Now, with the Yellow Ranger, I am particularly excited about this Ranger because of the debacle with the Automorphin re-releases in the Legacy line last year. As you all may know, we never ended up receiving the Yellow Ranger. We got every flip-head Automorphin Power Ranger reproduced in some actually pretty good packaging from the Legacy collection, except for the Yellow Ranger. She was never officially finished and released before the whole thing come about where they were about to sell the licensing to Hasbro and this, that, and the other. So we never actually got the Yellow Ranger. To this day, you can still go to certain websites such as Walmart.com, and they have the Yellow Ranger listed for sale. However, it is always under the same status of out of stock. So very disappointing there. We didn't get one Ranger to finish our collection. So I'm excited to finally get our hands on the Yellow Ranger in this collection. And I believe in 2020 we will see the entire Mighty Morphin Power Ranger line completed, at least for the Rangers themselves. I hope we continue to get more villains and special characters down the road, particularly in 2020 if we can get them. As you all will know if you have seen my top 10 wish list for the Lightning Collection moving forward, Rita Repulsa and Scorpina are two of my top things that I absolutely desperately want to see out of the Lightning Collection. So I really hope we get at least one of those figures this year, but hopefully by the end we receive both of them. So I'm going to talk real quick about the packaging and the pairing of actual characters in this Lightning Collection. Now, so far, I have been pleased with pretty much every release of exclusives, 2-packs, and basic figures, except for one. I'm going to start off talking about that one. The 2-pack that disappointed me the most was the Psycho Red and Red Galaxy Ranger 2-pack. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the Psycho Rangers, which is why I was all the more disappointed that they decided to pair the Psycho Ranger with the Red Lost Galaxy Ranger. I thought that made absolutely no sense. If anything, we should have received Andros, the in-space Red Ranger, to pair with the Psycho Red Ranger. I think that would have been a much better 2-pack. I think it would have made more sense. Now, don't get me wrong, the Red Galaxy Ranger and the Red Psycho Ranger, if you used to watch Power Rangers, they did meet and do battle in the Lost Galaxy episodes. However, you have now paired a non-Zordon era figure with a Zordon era figure, and I was not happy about that because I do not want the Lost Galaxy Rangers or really anything to do with Lost Galaxy. But now, in order to get my hands on the Red Psycho Ranger, you have forced me to purchase that, so I was very unhappy about that. I'm kind of confused also when it comes to the Psycho Rangers because with most 2-packs and exclusives up to this point, all of those figures have been some sort of specialty figure. Now, what I mean by that is the awesome Fighting Spirit Green Ranger and Mighty Morphin Putty 2-pack that we got, we see a customized version, a variant of the Mighty Morphin Green Ranger. Now, I am sure that we are going to receive a basic version of the regular Mighty Morphin Green Ranger with the correct holster color, the holster on the correct side, the complete green helmet without the silver lining going down the top of it. So I'm sure that we're going to get that figure. So I wasn't that upset with this particular 2-pack of them pairing a Green Ranger with something else, because it's basically just a variant. I'm sure we're going to get the regular Green Ranger moving forward, but also the pairing actually kind of made sense, because the Mighty Morphin Green Ranger, the Fighting Spirit one at least, is derived from the original Green Ranger, which actually debuted in the original season of Power Rangers with the Mighty Morphin putties that they were always doing battle with. So at least that one made sense. You know, we got a variant with something that goes with that variant. So I was perfectly okay with that. With the Psycho Red and the Red Galaxy Ranger, I'm starting to kind of get the assumption that they are not going to release the Psycho Rangers in the basic releases. We have already seen the exclusive. Now, it didn't come in a 2-pack, but the Blue Psycho Ranger was an exclusive. And now we have the Red Psycho Ranger in a 2-pack, and neither one of those Rangers were, the Psycho Rangers were a special variant. They are the actual Psycho Rangers, and one is an exclusive so far, and the other one is in a 2-pack. So I think the Psycho Rangers are going to be mixed in exclusives and 2-packs until we receive all of them. So I don't think we're going to see solo releases of those. Which also drives the question, are we not going to see solo releases of the Galaxy Rangers either? I mean, why pair, you know, they paired the regular Galaxy Red Ranger with the Psycho Ranger in a 2-pack. There is nothing special about the Galaxy Ranger. It's not a variant. It's not a special edition. So that also drives the point, you know, are we not going to see that? Now, you could make the argument, well, just like you see in my background, they already released the Red Mighty Morphin Ranger in a 2-pack, and then they re-released it as a solo, but that's not necessarily true. The Red Mighty Morphin Ranger we received in the Jason Lee Scott 2-pack, the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, actually was the variant of the Red Ranger with the Green Ranger Dragon powers. He had the shield, the armbands, came with the Dragon Dagger, also came with a lot of cool extras like the complete Power Blaster, and we also got the Gold Ranger because, you know, that was Jason Lee Scott's only other major role. So, you know, that one even kind of made sense. So I'm kind of confused on that. I don't think we're going to see solo releases of the Psycho Rangers. And now, with the inclusion of that Red Lost Galaxy Ranger, we might not even be seeing the solo releases of them either. So I'm not sure about that one, but I am confident we are going to see the regular Mighty Morphin Green Ranger down the line. So with the 2-packs, that Red Ranger one definitely disappointed me the most. I still have not picked it up to this day, but I probably will because it is even highly discounted right now. So I'll probably go ahead and pick it up, but I really don't want them to do that anymore. I don't want them to take completely different eras and mix those together. Now, the only exception to this Red Ranger 2-pack was the fact that those two actually did meet and do battle, but I still don't like it. I would have much preferred that they paired the Red In Space Ranger with him and even possibly made the Red Space Ranger some sort of variant or something. I don't know. But yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that. So that's kind of weird moving forward as to what they're going to do with those solo releases. So the other, you know, packs that we got, of course, in the background here, this is probably my favorite and the most impressive 2-pack released, which was the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. However, that was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, so you knew it was going to be a little more extravagant. The packaging was better, so it kind of had a one-up on all the other basic 2-packs that are being released. But I still think it's the best one to this point, and the most disappointing, for me at least, was definitely that Red Ranger one. When we talk about the individual figures themselves, of course, I'm mainly going to talk about Zordon era figures, much like I have displayed in front of you. So far, I think they're awesome. One other negative thing that I didn't like about the Green Ranger Fighting Spirit 2-pack is the putty that was included. Now, don't get me wrong, absolutely love the Mighty Morphin putty. However, putties are probably the one thing that people want the most of, and you chose to pair them in a 2-pack that costs $40 minimum and will probably go up once they don't make them anymore, I'm sure. So you forced people to go out and buy a $40 two-pack for just one basic figure that they wanted. I think if you would have paired the putties separately in a single packaging, they probably would have been one of your top sellers, because just about anybody trying to do a display or a collection probably wanted at least 3, upwards of maybe even 6 or more putties to add to their collection. So, yeah, I didn't really agree with that one either. I really hope that wasn't some sad attempt at a money grab, because they knew that would probably, be the case. But I'm glad that we got a putty no matter how we got it, because they are very good looking figures. And, putties and henchmen and things like that are sometimes overlooked. So I'm definitely glad that we got them. I hope now that the Mighty Morphin has been paired in a 2-pack, the Lord Zed Z putties will also make an appearance either in a solo package or a 2-pack moving forward. I think that would be really awesome. I want some Lord Zed putties to add to my collection. Or if they could simply include some sort of accessories for Z putties to make our regular Mighty Morphin putties look like Z putties. For instance, a little vest that slips over them and the knee pads and some elbow pads or something like that. I wouldn't even mind that. I think that would be pretty cool, but I would like to see a Z putty itself make a debut in the future, although that isn't something that I necessarily would put on a top 10 list, but I would really like to see it. Very excited to be rounding out the Mighty Morphin line this year. Like I said, we're already going to get Mighty Morphin Yellow. That has been completely confirmed. And for Wave 5, Mighty Morphin Blue is already rumored. And I assure you that we will get a regular non-exclusive version of the Mighty Morphin Black Ranger. So I keep seeing some on eBay, some just via pictures on Google and things like that. People are taking the Green Ranger and the Black Ranger, and they are modifying them, they are painting them, they are changing out their arms and all this to try to make them look show accurate. That's not necessary. I'm sure a lot of you want it right now, but I assure you we will most likely get both of those in their regular form. So don't think that you have to go out and buy extra figures and try to customize them to get the whole set. I assure you we are probably going to get the whole set in regular releases, so keep your variants and exclusives the way they are. They look great, and we will be getting the regular ones soon. Zeo is already starting to make a debut with the Gold Zeo Ranger, of course, we got with the Comic-Con exclusive. I don't know if they'll do a solo release of the Gold Ranger, but my instincts tell me they probably will. And the Blue Ranger is making a debut, so I think we're going to start to see them trickle in. I think this year we have a good chance of also seeing some more Space Rangers and possibly some Turbo Rangers make their debut. I don't know if we will see the Ninjetti Ninja Rangers and their ninja cloth costumes. I think that might be a little difficult to recreate in a highly detailed posable figure without using real cloth. So I don't know if we will actually see those. I'm also kind of curious to see if we see any sort of movie edition Rangers that actually look like their movie uniform and not just like a metallic version of them. Much like we got in the Legacy line, the little triangular box releases. I would love to see a more detailed, articulate version of those actual uniforms. And I hope they come with an Ivan Ooze, because he is on my top 10 list. If you guys want to go check out my top 10 wish list of the things I want to see moving forward, Ivan Ooze is also on it. A little spoiler, but I'm very, very excited for this year and to see what comes of the Lightning Collection. When we talk about Megazords, I've already seen it mentioned a couple of times. I would be okay if we don't see any Megazords in the near future from the Lightning Collection. I would much rather them solely focus on these great detailed figures of characters we want to see and characters we've never even seen before recreated in an action figure. I hope they take the time to look at it and actually pick up those figures, and make them into these awesome masterpieces that they have here in front of us, because despite some of the flaws that they have, these are some of the best Power Ranger toys we have received in a long time, especially at the price point. $20 per figure, $40 per 2-packs might seem a lot to somebody, but these are a great, I don't really want to say a poor man's version, but a poor man's version of the SH Fig Arts figures. So I'm very happy that we're getting them. A couple other things that I'm going to mention before we go, as far as the accessories, life-size accessories, morphers, weapons, things like that. I would like to see them in the future, but I would also be okay if they held off on those for a while. Now, when it comes to Megazords, I don't really even know if I would want them to re-release any of the Dino Megazords. We have so many options when it comes to the Dino Megazords. The Soul of Chogokin, I just picked up all 3 of those, and they are amazing. I really don't know how you could top that unless you made one similar at a much cheaper price point, because those are, I don't think you could possibly do any better with a recreation of the Megazords than the Soul of Chogokin. I always get tongue-tied when I try to say that, but yeah, so when it comes to the Megazords, that's just my thought on that, if you guys are really looking forward to Megazords. So I would be okay if we don't see them anytime soon, but some Megazord-sized villains, now I would be on board with that in a heartbeat. So this has kind of just been my quick discussion and review and thoughts on the actual Power Rangers Lightning Collection. Let me know what you guys think about it. Now, the figures themselves, as I said, aren't perfect. I have noticed a lot of imperfection. One just came to light today. Someone had actually mentioned it on my channel in regards to a comment that I had left, and I never realized that Lord Zedd actually doesn't have the armor on his fingers. You know, the little armor plating that he had on the joints on his fingers. I never noticed he never had those, so I will probably take one of my spare Lightning Collection Lord Zeds and try to do that modification myself. I'll paint some on to see what it looks like. Also, with the Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger, one of the glaring issues I noticed, not only with the color difference between her chest and the rest of her body, her chest is a slightly darker pink than the helmet and the arms and things like that, which I can live with that. But another thing I noticed is the Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger, and she's the only one thus far that I've noticed it on, her blaster is actually red and silver. Whereas Mighty Morphin Red and all the other Rangers that have come with a blaster, exclusive Zack with the Dragon Shield, all of theirs are the correct red with white. But once again, I will bring it up here close, hers is silver, and hers is the only one so far I've noticed that has this. Now, it doesn't look terrible, and you might have not even noticed it yourself unless you actually took the time to compare it. But yeah, her paint on her blaster is actually silver, whereas the other Rangers have the correct red with the white paint. And, I mean, I will show you that just to confirm. Here is Mighty Morphin Red, and his blaster is actually white. If you guys can even really pick up the color difference in the camera here. But his is white, and hers is silver, if you guys can see that difference. So I thought that was kind of crazy. Why, once again, are we having problems with basic coloring? If you guys will remember the Legacy Collection figures, the first release of the Mighty Morphin, they ended up messing up the color of the Pink Ranger and I believe Blue Ranger's belts. They were silver instead of white. So why is Pink Ranger still having problems with getting her paint correct on her accessories? Yeah, I don't know. But that is nowhere near as bad as a belt or something being discolored. You can always swap out blasters. I actually have 2 of these silver ones now from a couple different Pink Rangers, but that's neither here nor there, just another little flaw. And then the thing with the Red Ranger, I have already showed a video for the fix for this, but one of the issues with the Red Ranger was they actually put paint on the handle of his weapon. They haven't done that with any other figures. They are all just the molding color, so it's through and through. You don't have to worry about it scraping off. But Mighty Morphin Red, they colored the handle black on top of the red mold, and his hand is kind of stiff for you to fit that sword down in there. So the basic scraping of you just putting the sword in and out of his hand scrapes off all that paint. It gets all over his hand. His sword starts to look crappy from now red is showing through, so another little flaw, but check out my fix for that if you're having, well, I don't want you to have the issue at all, because once you have it, it's kind of over. If you pick up a Mighty Morphin Red Ranger, look up my fix. Basically, we just put some tape around it. It makes it look a little bit grayish instead of black, but it saves the figure from damage, so until we can get a better fix going on. Another issue with Goldar over here, Several people have already kind of voiced their complaints about the gold coloring on Goldar. I personally don't really think it's that big of a deal. I think Goldar looks great. Now, could it have been done better? Of course it could have. It doesn't look anything like the picture on the back. His face is much more blue, and his gold looks a through and through true gold all over, much like the movie Goldar. But I think this Goldar is fine. With the amount of detail that went into him, you know, it might have been asking a bit much for them to completely finish it out and make everything perfect coloring and this, that, and the other. But the detail on Goldar is amazing, so don't think that's a bad figure at all. Could have been one of the best action figures that they have made, aside from maybe White Ranger and Lord Zed, if they would have got that coloring correct. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. So this has just been my quick review, guys. That's some of the issues, some of the things I love, some of the things I'm looking forward to. Let me know what you guys think and what you want to see, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. So until next time, everybody, I will see you next video.